I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
Breaking Bad is one of my favorite TV shows of all times. Creating some of the most memorable moments in the history of television fiction, it has kept us on the edge of our seats with its innovative storytelling techniques. In this video, I am going to analyze the acting performance of Bryan Cranston, who plays Walter White, the hideous drug lord who has built a huge meth empire. So the background of the scene in question is that Walter and Skylar had visited the Schraders' residence for the dinner the previous night, during which a drunk Walt had subtly suggested Hank that the real Heisenberg is still out there, and Gail Whittaker was just a copycat. The following morning, a concerned Skylar wakes up a hungover Walt and decides to confront him about it. Before the scene starts, Skylar listens to Walt's call recording twice where he is expressing love for his family. The same call which made her allow him to move back with her after a long time of disagreement. But hearing about Walt talking about the slain drug chemist Gail the previous night, she becomes aware that Walt was under some kind of duress, or those were meant to be his last words. Before we proceed, the whole scene is about the protagonist switching roles as either Heisenberg or Walter White. Heisenberg is rigid, egoistic and loses cool easily, while Walt is a patient and calm person. Walter White is a family man, while Heisenberg is strictly business-minded. They are quite the polar opposites of each other.
It was a transitional period for him where we saw remnants. There is never a switch going from Walter White to Heisenberg. There was never a pulling down a lever. It was gradual. It was losing Walt and gaining some of Heisenberg.
Now continuing the scene. When Skylar wakes Walt up, he has no clue about what went last night that freaked Skylar out. She asks him about Gail and Walt's acquaintance with him continuously till the point that he becomes tired of the questioning and sets up, facing away from Skylar. Till that time, Walter is Walter, answering every question calmly after taking time to give the right answers and at the same time not revealing the truth.
Who killed him? Was it the people you work for?
Definitely not.
Skylar goes near and sits by him, and Skylar's words change from questioning to implications.
I don't want to talk about any of this, ever.
Then the frustrated Walt, who has been pressing his forehead, expresses his disagreement or even refusal to get involved in this conversation by firmly yet politely putting his point forward. Now is when a part of Heisenberg has entered the character. So when this happens, Skylar expresses concern about the call recording and look at Walt's expression, even though he is not in focus. He gives in to her concern and acts like a family member should.
I think that message was some kind of goodbye.
No, Skylar.
I think last night was a cry for help.
Oh, Jesus. Cry for help.
He touches her knee, assuring that everything is fine, but when she uses the words cry for help, the ego kicks in, making him pull back his hand and Heisenberg comes into the scene again. From now on, Skylar emphasizes on involving the police and confessing his crimes, to which Heisenberg dominates the scene totally, continuously exhibiting his refusal to talk about the police.
If you are in danger, we go to the police.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear about the police.
I do not say that lightly.
The makers of Breaking Bad portray the protagonist's character transformation from Walter White to Heisenberg by using subtext in this dialogue.
Don't
Front
want
door.
to hear about the
You're
police.
not some hardened criminal, Walt. You are in over your head. No. That's what we tell them. That's the truth.
No, it's not the truth.
Even when Skylar doesn't stop, he decides to get up and faces away from her.
Jesus, what was I thinking? Walt, please. Let's both of us stop trying to justify this whole thing and admit you're in danger.
But when she makes a final comment on telling him to admit that he is a coward in danger, this becomes the instigation point for Heisenberg to dominate the whole of the character and negate the Walter White in him. This iconic monologue of Walter White isn't him as an ordinary lung cancer patient fighting for attention, but as a dangerously brainy drug lord called Heisenberg. Let's break down this brilliantly crafted monologue and how Bryan Cranston executes it. He uses two things to deliver these dialogues. First, he breaks the sentences and then he uses pressure point on each word.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see?
In the first two sentences, Brian focuses on the who and uses it as a pressure point to establish Walt's superiority and Skylar's inferiority.
Do you know how much I make a year?
In the third sentence, he segregates them into two parts, taking the words you and I into consideration.
I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Do you know what would happen if I suddenly decided to stop going into work?
Brian speaks the next two sentences without breaking either of them, asserting Skylar's ignorance in the way things work.
A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up. Disappears. It ceases to exist without me.
He further explains the hypothetical situation in the next three, again focusing on pressure points, proving his indispensability.
No, you clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in.
In the next, he comes back directly attacking Skylar, answering the first sentence and puts pressure on the word clearly.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
Now look at these two sentences. In this sentence, he brutally denies being in danger, putting pressure on the word not. And in the very next sentence, he puts the pressure on I am rather on danger, again proving his superiority, following which he starts another hypothetical situation.
A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
He doesn't put any pressure point on any word in the sentence, but rather does it on the next sentence. This was just a small case study to show how masterful Breaking Bad is. Every dialogue and every scene has been executed beautifully, keeping in mind the psychology of the characters as well as complementing the situation and the pressure they are put in, making it one of the best TV series ever made.